what? Let's jump into this because I did want to go on a little bit and let's see what Flacco says about this. Let's see what Flacco gonna say.
Prosecutors
Shout out to
revealed they
Flacco.
found in David's phone at his court date today
Okay.
made everybody in the room stomach turn. It was horrifying. This degenerate freak really murdered that little girl and thought he was never going to
let's turn this up. Let y'all
He
get a
thought
load of
he
this.
committed the perfect crime. He thought, I mean, there's no evidence. He cleaned up his tracks good enough. He thought they was never going to find out. He was never going to get arrested, and that's evident by how he was moving. Celeste was murdered according to officials back in April 2025. I think she was murdered much longer before then, but if we're going with the official timeline, she was murdered back in April.
I want to tell y'all something, right? When it came to that David situation, when it happened a long time ago, we covered that. If you go back on the YouTube, you'll see we covered that video. I'm standing in the same place that I was standing before. I'm standing in the same place I was standing before, right? My perspective of it, and this was my same perspective before. A lot of people jumping around on how they feel, whether he did it or not, right? But let me tell you something. And y'all might think this is dead wrong, right? But if I encounter a grown man, and that grown man is not from the Middle East, not from a country where he's been raised and trained to have his eye on a little girl and it's normal, I think something wrong with you, gang. They tell y'all, we always talk about how the brain is like a sponge, right? I was talking about that Corey Holcomb situation, and somebody on TikTok had commented one time. They was like, yo, yeah, but he was talking about in another country. And I said to myself, yeah, you might be with that type of time. The way you were molded in our culture here in America, the way you were trained, you a grown man, you ain't attracted to a 12-year-old. Or you're not. Now, David seemed to have been attracted to that young lady. David, this singer dude with all this money, seemed to have been in an all-out full relationship with this young lady that ended up being taken out of here quite tragically. If you got a daughter, if you got any young woman in this world running around on her way growing up, if you had experience with a daughter, with a niece, with a little sister, with any of that type stuff, you know how some of the young girls could be. So David obviously took full advantage of her. But the reasons why I was on Heat Guilty off top from the very beginning, months ago, is because, bro, you was in a relationship with a super minor. You was in a relationship with a super minor.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy.
Girl ain't know how to clean herself yet properly. And David was in a super relationship with her. Right? On top of that, they found her in your car. Oh, I couldn't be in district attorney. I couldn't be the cops. You guilty right there. You a grown man. She a child. You in a relationship with her. She got found dead in your car. Nah, gang, you did that, David. And they ready to give him the death penalty. And I ain't gonna lie, I think they should give him the death penalty. I think they should. Yo, grown men are not attracted to little girls. We in America. Your brain ain't something wrong with you. If you got a friend that's attracted to a little girl, something is wrong with him. If your homie 21, 22, and he looking at a 12, 13-year-old, 14, 15, bro, hey, what's going on with you, bro? What's up with your development? And David was a weirdo. David, yo, bro, let me tell you something, right? You gotta whip your kids if they like weirdos.
She wasn't discovered dead until September. He had about 6 months to clean up his tracks, and he
6
thought he did a
months.
good enough job. He wasn't officially charged with anything until April of 2026. That means that's the entire year since he murdered Celeste. Now,
Yeah,
he knew he
6
was
months.
under investigation since September. That means he knew he was under investigation for about 6 months. But,
6 months
his arrogance didn't really allow him to think that he was going to get caught, because when he was eventually arrested, this dude had so much evidence on his phone, not of what he did to Celeste, but of other things that...
And let me tell you something. I said that. So when they were talking, because I was hearing from a few people, they're like, no, he gonna get away, no, because why you think they ain't arrest him? And I'm like, once again, y'all don't know shit about the criminal justice system. Be quiet. I'm the one with all the experience with the criminal justice system. I'm the one, gang. I'm the one with the experience. So let me tell you, they had him in sight. They knew they could get him, and they wanted to pile up a lot more evidence. But they knew the police ain't stupid.
Booting him.
This their career. You know how you usually trust people when they putting together that career? It's my doctor. He been a doctor for 25 years. This my barber. He been cutting my hair for 12 years. And he got all the tools to do it. Just like your doctor got all those good tools. The police got all the tools to figure out if you guilty or not. We're going to get in your phone. We're going to get the cell phone ping. We're going to walk in here, get the CCTV. We're going to look at the license plates. We're going to figure this whole shit out. And then we're going to come arrest your dumb ass, David. But for some of y'all that was out here in support of him, yeah, man. Yo, hold on, man. We got to send in these names. Send in these names to your local authorities of the people that were supporting David. Send your name in if you're on TikTok. Send your name in if you're on Twitch. Yo, if you know somebody and they interested in young women, yeah, man. Don't be cool with them. Turn them in. Turn them in. Somebody should have turned David in. People had to know, right? Manager, didn't they say he was sharing an apartment with his manager? How much money would it take for somebody to be able to make you, for you to turn the blind eye to yo, bro, man, humans is wicked, gang.
You would think that if somebody knew or had expectation they was going to get arrested for something this horrific and knew their phone was going to be a pivotal part of this investigation, that they would at least clean up their phone. But this dude was so arrogant and so cocky, he didn't even bother to even touch or erase his phone or erase illegal things from his phone.
You watching on Twitch, man. Put we love you, boo. Put boo in our gang in the comments.
Murder case.
The prosecution revealed details about disturbing digital evidence. Let's get to CBS LA's Rick Montanez.
I said that. I said it was going to be
in court today. Rick, what are you hearing?
You knew this kid was dumb over it. He dumbing in the brick.
Amy, Chris, the hearing just wrapped up within the half hour here, and cameras were not allowed in court, but I can tell you that the defendant, David Burke, was in court today in shackles and wearing that orange jumpsuit. The biggest new piece of evidence revealed, prosecutors say a significant amount of child found on Burke's cell phone.
So here we go. They go through his cell phone and they found wild CP activities. Child activities, right? Now, some people are like, bro, think about what just happened to R. Kelly. Think about what just happened to R. Kelly. You know David think he's smart, right? He probably he got all this money, career bubbling. He like, yo, look what they just did to R. Kelly. I can't get caught up like that. So he thinking he's smarter than R. Kelly. And he made a different decision. He thought, but you know how he should, you ain't R. Kelly. Yo, who told David that he could even think that he was R. Kelly? Your music ain't even that good, gang. What the fuck is he talking about?
Tell me, peanut butter jelly.
I ain't never heard no
peanut butter jelly. There she go, the lady
lady of my dreams. What? Thought he was R. Kelly? You ain't R. Kelly? And you done took this little girl life. Yo, I'ma tell y'all. I think, and I'm not, this is not, horrible things happen in our world, man. Protect those that you love. Because there's vicious creatures running around out here. And I ain't talking about mountain lions and tigers and grizzly bears. I'm talking about humans. We more dangerous to each other than anything but, I think, mosquitoes. Outside of mosquitoes, ain't nothing more dangerous to a human than a human. So I think the world may have caught a break with this. Because I think David would have done this. At some point, he was going to do this. That's who he is. He probably had this locked up in his head since he encountered that young girl. I promise you.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Nasty,
what's wrong with you?
Stinking,
what's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy.
David. So yeah, they want to load him on up, send him to the upper room. They want to strap him down in old Sparky Roney. They want to spark his top off. Huh? They want to green mile him. Yeah. And let Zeus TV cover the execution. You know what? We got everything going on in the hip-hop space and the hip-hop media entertainment news. Why not let Zeus cover the execution of David? Wouldn't that be fire? Zeus cover the execution of David. We can all watch it. Somebody clip it, put it up on YouTube later on. For those of y'all that might not want to subscribe to whatever they might want to have us subscribe to watch that. Get to see him cook David on up. Huh? Get to see him turn David to barbecue turkey wings.
We also want to point out that this all happens one day after the medical examiner's report became public. That is the report on the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
Young little confused
The
girl.
report says, or I should say the family of Rivas Hernandez is absolutely devastated to learn the gruesome details contained in that write-up. That's according to a family statement. So this report says the 14-year-old girl died of sharp force trauma, but the autopsy was difficult because of the severe decomposition of her dismembered body when it was found in the singer's abandoned Tesla last September. Officials say she died 5 months earlier in April of last year. Burke, the suspect, known by his stage name David, was arrested last Thursday. On Monday, he pled not guilty to the capital murder charges. We spoke with a former federal prosecutor just a short time ago here on CBS LA Mornings about this new evidence revealed in today's hearing and the fact that David's phone, according to prosecutors, contains child.
Yeah. They caught him. He was what he was. David was what he was, and we all knew from hearing it off top. And we all, and listen, yo, bro, this is just like a symptom of like a real virus that's going on. This is just a little symptom, right? Because we be having those kind of people in our families, bro. I always say that, right? We got those kind of creeps and those freaks who be sneaking around. The kids. We don't never shun that person. Shoot, and I know in black families, you liable to get shunned more for just telling the truth about something like that than you is to get shunned if you that person. So we be coming from families where, like, if it's a creepy dude like that and you bring it up, people might start trying to shun you, ostracize you, alienate you. Because they might be embarrassed. But nah, gang, nah, gang. Ain't no time for embarrassment in certain situations. Not when it's time to save a life. Not when you love your daughter. Not when you love your family. Ain't no real man gonna let something like this happen. I don't understand when fathers give up. I got control of you. What you mean you gonna do this? You not doing this. And some of y'all be like, no, you don't. Yeah, I've been through that stage, yeah. Some of y'all don't know how to love, so your kids get wayward. Some of y'all ain't got no love in y'all. Your kids can tell you don't love them. Everybody know you ain't got no love. You motherfuckers can tell. You the only one pretending. And you know what pretending gets you? Pretending gets you hurt every time. Every time you get the pretending, it's going to get you hurt. So, hey, they want to chop David up and put him in a Tesla. An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy.
Yo, we gotta start doing that. Yo, bro, you know how the dudes go around. You know they got the what's it called? You know they go around and they find the dudes. They do like the stings where they go find the predators and stuff like that, bro. I'm not saying everybody need to take that route. But what I'm saying is if you're watching this on TikTok, right? If you're watching this on Twitch, be Buanon gang. Join the Buanon. Right is right, wrong is wrong at all times. We all know what integrity is, right? What you do when no one is watching. But even if people watching, don't be afraid. Hey, grandma, man. Your son, the one you love, he ain't no good. That want to hear personal experience? I got an uncle. I wasn't aware it was him. Ain't really met him a whole bunch of times in my life, but I know him. But when I was a kid, and my mom was going through all her struggles, I was only child at that point. I was only child for a little while. And, you know, my mom was doing drugs. You know, she was going through that hard life. We in New York. You know, this in the crack epidemic in the I'm born in the 80s. Crack epidemic. Middle of it. Mom's going through it. No father in the picture. Yeah, that story that we all seem to have. Right? And when I was younger, my moms would tell me all the stuff that had took place when she was younger, the things that happened to her. Because my mom's mom had got killed by my grandfather. And my grandfather went to prison. So my mom's father had killed her mother. And so my mom's father's in prison and my mom's mother was gone. And my mom's had to go move in with her family members. And I had an uncle there. And that uncle had already been doing stuff to his sisters. And my mom was a real little kid. And so my mom would tell me this. And I had that in my head like I always would think about that kind of stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I was younger, like, look, somebody did something to my moms, man. Like, you know. And I got, you know, I was in the streets, did a lot of time in prison. So I grew up angry and mean and like, I grew, you know, so, and I've had a few incidents where people I feel like ain't treat my moms right when I was younger. But I would think about that, especially like when I was in prison. When I was in prison, I would just sit and think about what my moms had told me about her being younger and R-worded. About how she was a kid and got taken advantage of. And I found out it was my uncle. But when I came home from prison, I was on it. I want to defend my moms, right? Ain't never been to jail. I don't know if nobody ever put hands on him. I don't know exactly where he live. He don't mingle with the family, obviously, right? But more than one person, more than just my moms. Think then all my aunts, and it's a bunch of them. All his sisters. And my moms, who when her mom got killed and her father went to prison, became like a sister there living with her grandparents. But that's his niece. And to this day, I'm the only one that really ever talked about that in family settings. People have been mad at me. Yo, what y'all talking about? What? What you mean shit caused our family a lot of pain and trauma? Seem like ain't nobody know how to love nobody. Because them families keep them secrets. And we can't be doing shit like that no more. I don't know. In so many ways, I don't know how we just launched off into that.